Go ahead, AC.
All right, Moose fam, welcome to another edition of the Moose Media Show. We're here to discuss, as always, series that have happened, trades, rule ones, interesting things we've noticed for the week. First off, I'd like to apologize to our loyal watchers for a lot of confusion over the last couple of days for our shows, but we're here tonight, and we still plan to hopefully do these on a weekly basis on Sundays. And if there is a need to to reschedule or to move it off, we're trying to make Tuesday as the alternate date to help you guys keep a schedule. But we appreciate your patience. We'll do what we can to make this an entertaining and wonderful show. Tonight we have Piggy, myself, Belial, and Vic as your incomparable hosts and analysts to discuss everything that's happened in the Moose this past week. Lots of series to talk about, lots of interesting things that happened throughout the week. But there's a lot of series, and rather than bore you with reading off all the series and the results, we'll, as always, talk to each of the panelists and give us their perspective on a series or two they felt was interesting or surprises. So we'll start with Belial. How you doing, Belial? Welcome to the show. Always glad to have you on.
Thank you.
Let me know and let the watchers know what you thought of this past week's series and one that was interesting or stood out to you.
Like for a big surprise, or just like stood out in general there?
I'd say a big surprise, something that you weren't expecting, a win that you didn't see coming.
Okay. That's pretty easy. I think WTF, also known as Cracker Joe, he got swept twice this week. Once against Rocco and once against Dutch. The Dutch series was a little bit closer. They did squeak out a point there. As well as the second series in Rocco, it went 6-5, 4-3, and then 9-0. I don't know what happened in the game two there. That was when the 9-0 happened, but I know I played them on Vin's team earlier this season, and definitely thought they were a strong team. Definitely taking a run at maybe that bye after the regular season was over to have a bye to the next round. But definitely intrigued me that they got swept both series last week there.
Vic, your thoughts on the past week?
Got a few for surprises. First one I guess to talk about is actually Murph continuing his sweep streak against Claremont. I thought that'd be their next biggest challenge to kind of provide Murph a hurdle or a hiccup in the sweep run that he's on currently, but apparently Murph just mowed them down as well, so interesting to see them still rolling on. Also surprised to see Rocco have a solid week. I know they've kind of been not quite down and out, but definitely down in the last few weeks. So for them to come back and have a real solid week and sweep twice, good to see that. But again, surprising. And then for me, still, again, as always, just the number of sweeps in general. This week, 12 out of 18. That's 2/3 of the series played this week ended in a sweep. It's just very shocking to me.
Piggy, your thoughts on the week? Big surprises, big standout series.
I'm gonna say Valorn taking 2 or 3 from Passenger. Like with that firepower of Playmaker and Connolly and Superstar up on the front line, going against, not so much of a talented defense on Valorn's team. But I don't know if Devin's been playing or whatever. He didn't play against us, but I would say that series. So kudos to Valorn trying to catch up to us in the standings.
Yeah, I think you guys hit on a lot of the big stories for the week. I would agree with you, Vic, and about the number of sweeps in general. Just is another big surprise for me. Pretty impressed to see Dropkick Murphys continuing to play as well as they are and continue to win. One of the surprises for me in terms of I didn't necessarily expect to see or kind of surprised to see a loss from a team was Blue Liners' team to Fallen. I think they're both talented teams comparatively, but I would have thought there would have been a bit of an edge for Blue with having Fastway, a.k.a. Weber, on his lineup. But kudos to Hounds of Justice for pulling out the win. Also, for me, I'm kind of happily surprised to see D-Mart's team turning around and getting 2 sweeps this week, which seems to show that some of the moves he's made or some of the changes he's made to his lineup is being effective and helping out. Now, the other side of the coin for these kind of positive upswing stories is the surprises or the upsets of the week or fails we see for in terms of series and losses. Piggy, do you have one in specific or anything you thought was kind of a surprise in terms of people not getting the job done?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Vin and D-Mitch series. Two of the games went 4-3, and then the other one was like 6-4. That's a tight race in that division, and I'm glad Vin pulled it out. He's been proving me wrong ever since I called him out on his 2 trades that I thought were retarded. But kudos to him. And man, that division's tight. I think the worst team is Yeti, but everybody else is like 2 or 3 points apart from each other. So it's going to be interesting to figure out on who's going to make it out of that division and who's not.
Bilal, what do you see as a fail or a big surprise to you for the week and some of the series that happened?
Not really a big surprise, but maybe a little bit of an upset or maybe a little bit of a question mark is Bar Down taking a game from yourself, AC, in your guys' series there. I know the scores in the first 2 games were really tight. Even the first game went into overtime. And then Bar Down squeaked out of the 5-3 victory. I know he's had to deal with a lot of team issues, make a lot of moves to try to rebuild his roster from the ground up. So I'm pretty sure that Bar Down taking a game from one of the top teams in the league was a big surprise in my opinion.
Vic, yourself?
Well, I may as well just continue that there. Yeah, I guess Bar's stealing a game as well. Your team's been solid right out of the gate. Majority of your team from last season's MHL Cup winning team. You guys have the chemistry, so it's interesting to see a team like Bar's, who's been kind of a bit of a rotating door as of late, getting things going and actually taking a game from you guys. Gives them a bit of hope, I'm sure, and maybe with a couple more moves, Bar can really solidify his roster, and maybe they can get things on track and still salvage their season. Let's see, another big upset. I guess it's not as shocking. It's just for me it is that Sober's team has actually been swept now 4 series in a row. And 2 last week, 2 this week, and this week they were outscored 38-7 total, being shut out twice. In those 6 games. It just shocks me that a team can be swept basically 4 times in a row, get outscored so much when, for the most part, they had, I think, NJ last week. They had Jack at times, still have Toke out there as well. Good players. It's just shocking that they can't squeeze out a victory in basically, I guess, 24 games.
Yeah, and that leads to my question, when is Sober going to make those moves to change that around or even salvage a little bit over the season? Because I know that team isn't really probably having the best time over there playing NHL. They're probably dreading the series the 2 times a week because they know, well, we're going to get crushed 22-1 every single series. So it's kind of raised the big eyebrow of when is Sober going to pull his captain shoes, put it on his captain socks, his captain cape, and make some moves and kind of salvage a little bit of the season.
Yeah, the trade deadline is May 25th, so time is ticking on those kind of options for them. But yeah, it's an interesting scenario for him. He does have some pretty top talent players individually, and for some reason they're just not working as a team. And to your comment, both you, Bilal, and Vic, the series with Bar. And this is not meant as a disrespect to Bar or his boys. I did not expect necessarily as tight a series as we got. It was refreshing. It made the games very interesting. I mean, the first game was overtime, second game was 1 goal, and then we just didn't play our game well enough, and Bar kept pushing us and came out with the win in the 3rd game. But I do think we kind of talked about it on previous shows that Bar made some moves. Bar is just too good of a player not to challenge like he could and has. And I think if he does make another move or 2, he could potentially address some issues for his team and make him a little more competitive than he has been. But that series was probably the tightest our team has faced so far. But yeah, very interesting, not to say the least. The trades is a big thing because these are potentially moves captains can make to address some of the things we've talked about. There was a few for the past week. The first one we'll get into discuss was D-Mark gets McSwagger and Rocco gets Collinton. Does anybody have a thought on that trade specific? A winner, loser, even? Vic, your thoughts?
Swagger's a hell of a player. I guess his attitude has been a problem for him for some teams. Other teams, I don't think it has been. If things are going well, I think he plays well. If things are going bad, I think he tries to do too much. Rocco getting Colleton, he's well aware of Colleton's 1-2 status, still made the move, so obviously Rocco knows a great deal of Colleton's skill level. And I believe Colleton can play both right wing and right D at a very high skill level, so pretty even trade, I think. Obviously, it's tough to really compare a full-time to a part-time, so it's tough to declare a winner here, considering I think Colleton's a lot more skilled and versatile versus McSwagger being a very good right wing. I guess you can move him around on the forward as well, but other than that, the full-time kind of helps as well.
And McSwagger is signed up for goalie. Didn't he sign up goalie preferred? I think so.
Yes.
So that makes an interesting.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Sorry.
No, I wonder if maybe that could be something where they tried to move Daly back up to forward, because I know in our series they tried that, and Daly made some pretty big plays and scored some pretty decent goals in the series we played against him. So maybe that gives him another option.
Absolutely.
Lyle, your thought on that trade?
I think the big point in that trade is the 102 versus 202. But you know what you're getting from Colleton. Very solid D-man, very solid right wing, and even a solid goaltender too. With McSwagger, Vic said it best, it's his attitude. If he brings it and wants to put that team effort in, then I think he'll be successful with his lineup. He also can play pretty decent net in there as well, where he's not as loud, not as obnoxious there. But I definitely think this trade's pretty even with the 102 versus 202, but obviously that 202 is a nice thing to have.
Piggy, your thoughts on that particular trade? Do you see a winner, loser?
Yeah, I think Colleton's the real winner in this because he actually gets to play or whatever with a more relaxed team. And Grant, you know, I think he's getting the raw end of the deal because they're bringing. Yeah, he's a beast, and he's on the bench for whatever reason. And juiced up, he's known for voicing his opinions and stuff, and McSwagger's known for voicing his and stuff like that. So maybe whenever the boat sinks, if it does, that hopefully D-Mark can control their personality clashes.
Yeah, I don't know either of these players all that well. So I don't necessarily want to claim a winner or loser on the trade. My perspective on the trade is I know these two captains are not your typical captains I would call a fail captain, so I kind of think they both made a move you would call a typical hockey trade where I think they both had a need and filled it with the two people moved. I do think it's interesting that there is a 1-for-2 player involved in trading for a 2-for-2, but you never know why captains do the things they do. It could fit perfect with Rocco's plans for a lineup. And he did sweep this week one of his series, I believe. So I think those captains have enough sense to know what they're doing in that trade. And I don't want to call it winner because I unfortunately don't know much of those two individuals. The second trade we want to discuss was Passenger trading Simo in return receiving Upshaw. Piggy, your thoughts on that trade?
Upshaw, he clear winner. That dude can play forward at a good or a high spot, and then he can play really good right D. So, Upshaw.
Lyle, your thoughts on that trade?
Definitely clear winner and Passenger. They're getting Upshaw. Upshaw and Playmaker actually played on the same team last year too. So the Playmaker kind of knows what he can get from Upshaw. So I guess I'm pretty sure that had a little bit of a pull in that trade there, but definitely Simo, he's been in the league before, but definitely clear winner and Passenger there.
Vic, your thoughts on that one?
It's tough for me to flat out declare a clear winner as I don't really know Simo. Haven't really seen him play, don't know what he plays, but I have played a few with Upshaw. No, he's very skilled. So, I mean, it's definitely a good thing for Passenger. It is good, though, to see Rocco making some moves. He's not ready to roll over and die. He's making a push, getting things done. never say die attitude, which is great. Good to see. Hopefully he fights right to the end, and hopefully this works for him.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about Simo, but I'm just looking at 6 games played, 16 points. I mean, that's pretty impressive for skill wise. I mean, that's not your typical plays 2 games and has close to 3 points a game average. That's 2 series where he's going to see enough of a player to make a call on it. I do agree that Upshall is a bit more of a steady veteran and has a lot more to offer from just being in the Moose longer and being the player that he is. But I don't know a lot about Simo, but I don't know if we could call it a dead win one way or the other looking at kind of that performance out of him so far. And he's also been in the Moose. I didn't know him in his previous iteration, so maybe it's not fair to call him a inexperienced player in the Moose. The next trade we want to discuss is myself was involved, and I traded Joker and Toker, which is a 0 bag of dicks player, for another 0 bag of dicks player, which is Human Typhoon. I'll probably just not necessarily comment on my own trade, just to say that I'm happy with the player I got in return. But Vic, your thoughts on that trade?
Well, Typhoon, this season I've seen, we played them on, I think he was on, Yeti's team, obviously, that's what it says here. Played against them. He averaged basically 9 goals against each game we played in that series for a total of 27 in the 3 games. So tough to say. It's tough to say, right? Goalie's got to work with defensive goalie. It was close the second game, but the other ones were kind of blowouts. And unfortunately, when EA gets on your side, some of the goals that went in were just god awful. Like, you wouldn't even shoot, just it hit a skate, bounce up and over his stick and through his legs, kind of thing. It's unfortunate, and it kind of runs up the stats against him. But from what I've seen, he has a bit of trouble covering the quick passes across, even from far out. Maybe reflexes a little slow on those. As far as Joker, I haven't really played much with him. I know he's a great guy just from the MAHL season, the last one we actually had. He was a captain, well out of the playoffs, maybe halfway, 2/3 of the way through, still playing night, so it didn't screw. If he doesn't play, I'm sure he'll be just that guy that's there and ready to go whenever you give him a chance.
Biggie, your thoughts? I know it's your own team. Feel free not to comment.
No, I think that I think both teams win in this. We had a void in the net, and Joker deserves to play because he's a great guy. So I'm gonna say both teams, and I didn't know it was him. So welcome to the team.
Bilal, any thoughts on this one?
I'm in the same boat. Good trade for both teams there. Yeti gets a solid backup left D or right D, whatever he decides to put him in, as well as you get a nice backup goalie, and you never know forward. Both veteran guys, been here for a while. You know what you're getting with them, and definitely if you have to throw them in for a series or two or have to end up starting them, you know what you're going to get, and that's steady play.
Thank you, sir. So the next trade, which I would have to call probably the biggest blockbuster of the week in terms of the names involved, we have Vin Gizzels getting AZ, Mike War, and Hatchet, and Yeti gets Donster and Gino in return. So Vic, I'm going to come to you this one. What do you think of this trade? Do you see a winner in this at all? These are big. These are some of the bigger names of the trades this week, I think.
Certainly. Now, while obviously it sucks to lose a winger like Gino, especially for the value. Fucking tremendous right winger, and I think he's got drafted for 3 bag of dicks. Very tough to beat that value. So losing him obviously is a bit of a hit. Also losing Donnie. I guess if he's not playing net, his defense is his preferred position, but what Vin was really looking for was somebody who really just plays a solid left D game, and I think that's what he got in Hatchet. I think Mike War is kind of just maybe a bit of icing on the cake. Good depth man. Looks good for Yeti as well, though, getting Donnie and Gino. Donnie can play net, obviously when Pancake, I think, is unavailable too for whatever reason. And getting Gino to play, I think he's playing left wing now because Yeti also has an NJ. So Gino's that kind of guy who's able to step up. Whether he can play left wing at the same ability and skill level as right wing, I'm not sure. Obviously, it takes some time to get used to. I'm sure Bilal can iterate on that. But really, pretty fair and straight trade for both teams. I like it.
Piggy, your thoughts on that trade?
I think Donster and Gino going to Yeti's team, that's really going to help them out, and hopefully that they can play spoiler to some teams, and hopefully that team will be not as underestimated with NJ and Gino. But Donnie plays great lefty and goalie, so you can put JB at lefty or Donnie at lefty, and then JB and Ned or whoever. But just kudos to him. And Hatchet plays really good lefty too. So, and I don't know how Mike AZ War does. So,
Bilal, your thoughts on this trade? Obviously, being one of the teams involved, you might be a little biased, but that's okay. Tell us what you think. What you think?
Not too biased. I'm friends with everybody in the trade. So really, I think it's a pretty fair trade, to be honest. I know with Vin picking up Hatchet and Mike, Mike's going to be that solid depth forward, depth D-man, whatever you need him to play, he's going to be there. As well as Hatchet is a true left D-man, which is going to be the first time all season that we've had a true left D-man, true right D-man back there. And also, Yeti picks up a great goalie, great left D, as well as a great winger in Gino. So again, I see not really a huge winner in this trade. Again, being a part of it, it's like you said it personally, I'm going to have a little bit of bias. Like I feel that my team is going to win in the whole total package there, assuring our goalie and our defense and our center and right wing all in our natural positions now, as well as some other trades that Vin's been working on here as well. I think it's a good trade for both, though, for sure.
I find this an interesting trade in the perspective that you basically have a starter top-end quality D-man being traded for a starter top-end quality forward, and then reverse in terms of the other two people added in the deal being depth backup, potentially D-man and backup depth forward. But I think it's harder to judge a defenseman's worth in a trade because you can't easily look to stats to judge quality unless you know the player very well in terms of how they play and what they bring. I would kind of tend to give this a little bit of a leaning towards Yeti getting Gino just by his simple performance this year. He's got 50 points. I mean, that's up around the top 10 in scoring for this year, and I think he'll make a bigger impact to the team for Yeti than the reverse. But I do think Vin gets a good defenseman to help shore up some of the issues he's had with defense. But I would tend to make it a little bit of a call saying it's a little bit more to Yeti's favor. The last trade we have to talk about is an interesting one, to say the least, in my opinion. Murph gets Longton, and in return, Fallen gets Gal Like a Boss. Vic, your thoughts on this trade?
Well, Murph's been trying to sell Gal Like a Boss as a solid player anywhere you put him all season. Whether that's true or not, I can't really speak to it. I've only seen him play once or twice. Real tough to judge a player on a couple games. Murph apparently thinks he's just that, or he's playing his cards right and trying to increase his value. I think right now, based on Longton's history with the league and how good he is, even though he is unavailable till May 26th, and just so everyone knows, yes, he is unavailable to play until May 26th. So if he plays, those games will be wiped out, yada yada. It'll be a 3-0 win for the other team. Sure, Murph knows this. I don't think he's really in a lot of trouble losing Gow, who's a depth player, when he's also got Cam, Global, Sweet Lou, Gordo. Gordo is playing very well actually this season as well. I think Murph's the clear winner in this one in my eyes.
Piggy, your thoughts?
Well, of course Murph is the clear winner. I mean, Gow, I don't know, but Longton's a known vet here, but you know, with Murph doing that 1-2 post on Sweet Lou, it's just kind of shady, but you know, it's Murph. So, but anyways, yeah, Murph wins.
Bilal, Your thoughts on this one?
I played against Gal this season. I haven't played against Longton, but I know he was good in the past. But Gal like a boss stood on his head in our series, because he actually played net, and I actually think that with Longton missing that many days and Gal gonna be there, I don't know. I find it even, to be honest.
Yeah, I had Gal like a boss on my team when I was an MHL captain. I think Gal is a good player. He's a very versatile player. He's a good goalie. He plays D in another league. He's a very solid D. I do think the amount of money that Murph bid on him in the beginning was a lot more than I think most people expected for Gal. And I do think maybe Murph's doing a bit of a sell job and when he was trying to move him. I don't know if Gal is not. I wouldn't call Gal not a good player. I think he's decent and he has a lot of value. I do think in terms of talent-wise, Longton is the better player. But this whole concept of not being available to 26, to me, it makes it a little more even. To your point, Bilal, I think the clear talent-wise, Longton's better in this trade. But the fact that Gal's available, and Gal does have a usefulness in terms of being a pretty good goalie and solid D, and he's there available from day one with this trade. So talent-wise, I'd give it to Longton, but overall, way the dynamic of the trade works, I think Fallon did a good job in getting a player he can have serviceable for the rest of the season.
Hey, Vic.
Peggy.
I got a question for you. So say Longton comes back and he realizes that, Fallon went in the shithole and his team sucks, whatever, yada, 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 and he decides not to play. After May 26th, can that trade be reversed?
No, because Gal would likely have played by then. But again, I'd have to talk to the rest of the MEC to decide on that. So at this time, I can't really give you a definitive answer. But
okay, all right.
So now let's get to our favorite topic, and I say that with a little bit of sarcasm, is Rule 1s. And really, it seems like it's a revolving door this season, and I think we've kind of touched on this before. It's probably a good testament for bringing back an MHL when it's available, when the sign-ups make it available and the numbers are there, because at least you can eliminate some of this stuff happening in the MHL side of the thing, which is not necessarily the best for the people involved in the MHL, but it does help clean up the MHL and avoid these kind of revolving door scenarios we have. To be honest, I don't know a lot of the people being named in here for the Rule 1s. One name I do see stand out is Utility Man. I'm a little surprised on that one, unless it was one of those where something changed in his schedule and had to. But the other ones seem to be a lot of new players to this league, and then eventually have just been Rule 1, possibly for not starting or whatever. I'll start with you, Vic. Is there anyone in there that you're surprised by, or is this just something you're taking in stride with all the ones we're getting this season?
Yeah, Utility Man is the one that sticks out. Other than that, you're right. They're all new people by the looks of it. The one I guess that would really just pisses me off is the Abbott one. I think what's the reason apparently is he ran around out of the net and then laid down in front of the net kind of shit. Just it screws up the entire game. It unbalances everything. So it's that kind of just fucking jerk off attitude that the AHL really would help curtail. And I'm sure that'll be a big argument for reinstating that. When you look at all these new players, the percentage of the new guys that have been Rule 1. So shit like that, just absolutely deplorable. I mean, fuck those guys.
Hear, hear. I agree 100%. Well put. Bilal, any one of those Rule 1s that are surprised to you or you just have a comment on?
Not really surprised, but I agree with Vic. I'm pissed off that Chris Abbott, rumored to be running out of the net. It's not OTP. Like, you see that guy, see those goalies all the time if their defense isn't playing well, or then they start running out of the net, then teams start trying to score on them. It just looks like that, and it's kind of a joke, to be honest. It's a 6v6 hockey league. It's not a figure skating with the goalies type party thing here. So, again, there's no place in this league for it. And you see, I think one goalie, I swear, every season that tries to be funny and piss the team off. So that's the one that gets me.
Yeah, to that point, I think it's interesting, and I find it funny that goalie seems to be the biggest weirdest position of people that have these kind of breaks. I mean, my first year as a captain, I picked a goalie I thought was going to be a good, solid goalie, and ended up wanting him after the very first series, where we didn't come prepared for the first game, got shit stomped, and then he started running to the blue line, letting goal in after goal. And it's just like, it seems every season except for this season I'm captain now, I've had an issue with goalies. I don't know, maybe it's just that adage where it takes a special breed, and usually goalies are a little bit of odd people in hockey, even in professional and in pickup. Piggy, your thoughts on the Rule 1s? Anything you see in there interesting, or you just, as we've said, fuck them, they're being douchebags?
Yeah, I'll be the first to say it. Fuck them.
Anyways, I don't know if we want to give them any more time.
Yeah, don't give them any time, but when you look at something so shitty, I guess it's best to obviously look at the positive of it too. It's given, what do we have, 6 Rule 1s from this week or so? 7? It's given 7 new players an opportunity to join our league who hopefully aren't douchebags. So maybe they'll actually show up. You never know. There could be some great players in there that just missed the cut for whatever reason, and now they have an opportunity.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Piggy.
I was just going to say shout out to all the captains that have had to Rule 1 half their fucking team and ruin it and sticking with it, man. Collinelli, Sober. Kudos to y'all guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow on your coattails on that, Piggy. That's a good call. I think that shows a lot of testament to captains of this season, where they're just not putting up with this stuff. Collinelli, to his credit, is willing to rule one an entire team to prove to the people that if you dick around in this league, you won't stick. And he's doing it sometimes to his own detriment to his team, but he's sticking to his guns, and he's showing these people, you're going to be a dickbag, you're going to get tossed, which is as you said, it's a good reflection on the captains this season. They're not afraid to use that rule as it should be intended. And as you said, Vic, good on them for the individuals giving a shot to prove themselves. Hopefully they won't follow the path of the individual that cleared the spot for them and get emo and quit for not being played right away, but they've given their chance. Let's hope they do something good with it. So let's get into the second last topic. We'll end like we always do with Vic's always entertaining 3 stars and team of the week. But coming up, series this week in the next couple of days. One's already happened for this week, Sunday night, and actually Monday as well. I forgot about that. But is there anyone you guys see or interested in that you're excited about or expect to make a big impact on the week? Vic, we'll start with you.
Let's see, D-Mitch at Yeti. Interested in that one. Personally, it's a divisional match in my division, so it has pretty big implications. Yeti being the bottom feeder there of the division, unfortunately for himself. However, D-Mitch and Yeti both have new players added to their rosters, so it'll be interesting to see if those new players are actually able to breathe some life into those failing, in the Yetis, I suppose, a failing team, and if D-Mitch can actually separate himself from Vin and Yam's team in the same division and close the gap on Murph. So that's an interesting one for me. Another one involving a team in my division is Dutch at Murph. I think here's another, just like I thought Claremont was a legitimate chance for Murph to be stopped on the sweep streak. I think Dutch has a real good chance at stopping that, if not winning that series, if they can pull things together and make it work. Very interesting to see how that goes. And the other one is obviously the Saney AC one, which I think is happening tonight, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and actually, shout out for that. Saney wanted me to mention that Drew will be, I guess you can mention too, Drew will be streaming that one. So anyone interested in watching the 2 of the top teams in the league go at each other here, that's tonight. So that's definitely one that I'm looking forward to as well.
Yes, thanks for mentioning that. That's a bad thing on my part not to let people know that, yes, Drew has taped and streams all of our games. So if you have any interest in seeing teams play, see some series happening, you can check out his channel. Thanks for saying that, Vic. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Lyle, your thoughts? Any series you're excited for the week?
Again, I'll be a little bit biased, but it is the Vin and Claremont series tonight. Or in my eyes, it's the rematch that B. Cripps has been waiting for since he's been traded off that team. It's B. Cripps versus his former captain in Claremont tonight. I'm hoping it goes our way and B. Cripps gets those wins under his belt against his former club. I know he's pumped for tonight. I'm excited to play that one tonight for sure.
And yourself, Piggy?
Go short side on B. Cripps. No. I'm going to say the Dutch series with Murph. Hopefully Dutch pulls it out. And also our series versus Saini.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting series. One I'm kind of interested to see, just simply based on the personalities involved, is Yam versus Rocco. I would love to see that one streamed if it was possible, and that involves one of our esteemed media colleagues on that one, so that should be an interesting one. And another one I kind of like to see is Viva versus D-Mitch. I think D-Mitch is kind of that X Factor kind of team, and Viva has proven himself to be one of the top teams in this league, so that's an interesting matchup in my opinion. I think it has the potential for an upset, but I do have a little. I'm going to call Viva winning it, but I think it's going to be an interesting series. I'd also like to say a shout out to Viva. If you guys haven't checked it, he's got a new write-up. The bastard wrote a song. How does a captain compete with a man who can write a song for a write-up? So yes, check it out. The multi-talented Viva once again easily has taken the title as the best write-up captain for this season, if not all seasons combined. The fucker wrote a song. A song.
I helped him in the chat box. I was like, yeah, you suck, blah, 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 and then he filled it in. I started.
He gave a title.
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to own the fact that I haven't been as good as I should be on writing write-ups for my team, but now I just have write-up envy. I can't produce a song. I'm gonna get some crazy GIFs and GIFs or whatever they're called. Mo, it bugs me. I call them wrong things. And some memes. That doesn't compare with this song. Anyways, again, kudos to Viva and Moose Fam. Check it out. It's well worth checking into. So Vic, before I give you the last word and you can talk about that, I'm gonna spring this on you guys and prep you for next Moose show. I want you guys to come up with a team that we haven't given a lot of airtime and talked to, that's kind of been an underdog or gone unnoticed, that's doing well, and we just haven't kind of focused on in some of our shows. So that's your homework. Everyone pick a team that's kind of just quietly been plodding along in the Moose standings, and we should give them some airtime and some discussions, maybe even have a little feature on them. But yes, now we'll go to you, Vic. Take us out with the 3 stars. Let us know who the team of the week is.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll start with the stars. 3rd star, it's always nice to get a goalie on the 3 stars. It's the toughest position in the game, and the game fucking hates them. So good to see them do well when they do it. This week's 3rd star is Dalai Lama. I believe he's on D-Mart's team, correct?
Dolly time?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. 3rd
star, 6 wins. Posted a .67 goals against average for the week and a .940 save percentage, as well as out of those 6 wins, 3 of those were shutouts. Absolutely huge.
Wow.
Granted, you might argue they did play Sober and Fallen, who haven't been the top teams, but again, it's a hockey game, and not only are the goalies battling the other team, but they're battling EA. So shout out to Dalai Lama. This week, huge week for this team in general, led by their captain, Johnny Hockey, a.k.a. Saini, a.k.a. fucking Mr. Pone, Captain Aginla, yada, 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 yada. 12 goals and 7 assists on the week. Huge leader for that team. Also, I think he had about 23 hits and a +16 or something like that for his rating. Definitely deserve it of the 2nd star of the week. Good job, Saini, and actually your whole team. Some honorable mentions there. I know Zelo was high up there, and Tenure, obviously, the solid defenseman. You can't really play the offense you need to play with having no faith in your defenseman. So shout out to that whole team in general. 1st star of the week, no shock here, I'm sure to most. Leader of the points board, I think. Anyways, Marty McFly. 9 goals, 16 assists. True playmaker, huge, 16 assists. This guy can set him up from wherever. 1st star, again, maybe the points are a little skewed because of Sober Fallen, but When you're good, you're good, and I think this guy's reputation also puts him up here as well. Leading to the team of the week, again, while D-Mart swept both his series, I think this team, led by Johnny Hockey, none other than the Orville Redenbachers, deserves team of the week for also sweeping both their series. They had to play Colinelli and Passenger, who are no pushover, either one of them. I know Colinelli's had some issues, but still a solid team and a good defenseman himself. And Passenger having playmaker and, Passenger himself, again, a tough competition. So congratulations to the Orville Redenbachers. You're the team of the week.
Congratulations to all those named 3 stars in the team of the week. All well deserved. Gentlemen, as always, appreciate your time and effort in the show. Moose fam, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We will be back again on Sunday, barring anything happening last minute, which sometimes happens, but we plan to be here Sunday. Please watch. Please enjoy. Good luck to all those playing tonight. Gentlemen, well done. Have a great night.
Watch Drew's stream of AC Saney.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be tough. Good luck to all.
Later.
Night, boys.